Carvings and text from ancient Sumer, India, China, Japan, Egypt, Pacific Islanders, Native Americans, they all tell the same story. Gods who rode chariots in the sky, gods who created mankind, gods who destroyed the earth with a flood, and gods who helped us rebuild it. Nibiru is due to return around the year 2900. Now maybe it will be a gentle transit, and humanity will continue to evolve and innovate. Maybe by then we'll have learned a way to communicate with the ancient sky gods.
Yeah, Anunnaki.
Or maybe Nibiru's next visit will be a violent one, bringing with it another cataclysm that wipes the earth clean. So does that mean all of humanity is destroyed and we have to start again? I don't think so. Technology is going to keep moving forward. By the time the year 2900 arrives, I'm sure we'll be building outposts on the Moon, Mars, Europa, Enceladus. We'll be mining asteroids and stopping at Europa to refuel and refill our water tanks. Humanity will be a spacefaring species. And like we've conquered every corner of the Earth, I believe with a little luck and a lot of cooperation, we can conquer every corner of our solar system. Nibiru may destroy the Earth in the year 2900, but that's okay, because by then, we'll be the sky gods. The Anunnaki, the sky gods from Nibiru who traveled to the Earth in search of gold, needed to save their planet. And while here, they created the human race as a slave species to mine that gold. Eventually, humans grew too intelligent, greedy, arrogant, and violent. Then they were wiped out in a global flood when Nibiru passed close to the Earth. This story is one of my all-time favorites, and it is a classic. The Ancient Aliens television series is built around this story. But is it true?
Ancient astronaut theorists say yes.
I know they do. Almost all the Anunnaki ancient alien story comes from the work of Zechariah Sitchin. His book, The 12th Planet, explained how the story is written word for word in ancient Sumerian texts. His first book was such a hit that he wrote a whole series about ancient aliens and their time here on Earth. Sitchin spent over 20 years studying Sumerian tablets and teaching himself ancient languages. He translated thousands of texts, and a legend was born. So, who was Zechariah Sitchin? A Sumerologist? An archaeologist? A philologist?
What in the name of Anu is a philologist?
A philologist studies languages that are no longer spoken, like Latin, Ancient Greek, Sanskrit, Sumerian, and many others. So, philologist, archaeologist, Sumerologist. Sitchin was none of these. He claimed to have an economics degree from the University of London, though that's never been confirmed. While he was working for a shipping company in New York, he taught himself Sumerian cuneiform. He then visited some ancient sites and started to piece together the ancient astronaut theory. Now, I'm a huge fan of Zechariah Sitchin. I've read all of his books many times, and they're brilliant. But he was wrong about just about everything.
Oh, no.
His translations of Sumerian writing are more interpretations than actual translations. He even gets the meaning of the word Anunnaki wrong.
In the ancient texts of Sumeria, the term Anunnaki means those who from the heavens came.
Yeah, that's wrong. The Ancient Aliens TV show uses Zechariah Sitchin's translation, not the real translation. Anunnaki actually means royal blood or royal seed. Anu was the king of the gods, and his consort was named Ki. The Anunnaki were descended from Anu and Ki. They became the gods in the Mesopotamian pantheon. Sitchin's book was released in 1976. There was no internet. There were no databases of ancient writing and cuneiform, but now there is. Because we now know so much about how the Sumerians spoke and wrote, we also know that Zechariah Sitchin wasn't a very good translator. He got even basic words and grammar wrong. In fact, the title, The 12th Planet, refers to the image on the Sumerian cylinder seal VA-243. On the seal, the sun is surrounded by 12 objects that appear to be planets. Sitchin claims that the Sumerians knew of all the planets in the solar system, plus Nibiru and a few other objects. Now, the truth is, the Sumerians did know about planets, but they didn't know of any beyond Saturn. They didn't have telescopes, and Saturn was all that they could see with the naked eye.
Maybe the Anunnaki told them.
Hang on, I'm getting there. Other things Sitchin got wrong. Not a single Sumerian text mentions a flying vehicle. Yes, we read about them in other cultures. Ancient Indians wrote extensively about Vimana, giant vessels that could soar above the clouds. And in researching this episode, I learned all kinds of interesting things about Vimana that I didn't know. And if you want a full video on that, let me know. It would be a good one. Back to Sitchin. The Sumerians wrote about gold a few times, but not that much. And there's nothing in the text about mining gold to heal the atmosphere on Nibiru. By the way, Nibiru means crossing. Sitchin interpreted this to mean it was a planet that crossed the Earth's orbit every 3,600 years, but that's not what Nibiru was. Nibiru, or the crossing, was often associated with a solstice. It could refer to an object in the sky that indicated a solstice, or it could mean the sun or possibly a star crossing a certain way during a solstice. Sitchin took this idea and ran with it. He interpreted Nibiru to be a planet, but it wasn't. I'm not sure how he came up with the 3,600-year orbit, but if a huge object roared past the Earth every 3,600 years, you'd think there'd be plenty of documentation.
Maybe it was lost in the flood.
Well, now the flood is interesting. Every culture and religion has a flood myth. I think the count is up to 140 and maybe more, and they're all very, very similar stories. Frequently, 8 people are saved, as in the stories of Noah, Utnapishtim, and many others. It's been said that all the flood myths are copied from the others, and that the flood in the Bible is derived from the Epic of Gilgamesh. But when the ancient Sumerians wrote about the flood, even to them, this was an event that happened in their ancient history.
The Younger Dryas.
It could be. I think it probably was. I think all these myths were referring to the same great flood, and they didn't copy each other. I think they all arose independently. The ancient Chinese, Mayans, Nordics, and Polynesians weren't intermingling in ancient times, yet they all tell the same story, probably because it happened. Also, almost as many cultures have a creation myth about a god adding his own essence to clay. The essence could be DNA, and the clay could represent early hominids. Zechariah Sitchin's ancient astronaut theory is considered pseudoscience. His work has been called far worse. So is the story of the Anunnaki and Nibiru debunked? Well, not so fast.